Let us gather together to celebrate the marriage of heaven and earth at this time, this beginning of the year. Our witness of the celestial wanderers has helped us understand that we can remain connected even when separated by vast distance. May we choose in this time of collective hermitage to heal the pain of isolation with the medicine of connection through the capacity of our open human hearts. In 1917, Rudolf Steiner offered this wisdom in response to the radio waves that had then begun to vibrate the world stage. In times when there were no electrical currents, when the air was not swarming with electric influences, it was easier to be human. For this reason, in order to be human at all today, it is necessary to expend much stronger spiritual capacities than was necessary a century ago. Now, 100 years after Rudolf Steiner shared that, with those electrical influences amplified exponentially, what can we do to maintain our humanity? How can we expend much stronger spiritual capacities? What does this mean to you? What can we do? May these times of shared turbulence remind us we are all connected, that we all exist on one ocean called Earth. Can we coax this time of apparent isolation into becoming one of expanded connection? We can, but only through the cultivation of compassion, an awareness that reminds us many souls on our ocean are without a boat. What can we do for those without homes stocked with food? How can we connect with those who can't connect a thread to this World Wide Web? How can we offer healing to those who fall ill, but will be refused the privilege of a hospital bed? How can we care more for those within our homes and also for those without homes? Of course, the answer is love. More love. More love. What can we do? We can learn to love more. And in this learning, we will become the seeds that will sprout through the soil of this strange isolation into a forest of powerful connection, one that has never before been felt. May this be the ending of an old world, a composting of that old into rich soil for these new seeds called us. The time is now, and we are the ones we've been waiting for. Astrologers often present Aries equinox as a time for new beginnings, the beginning of the astrological year, we say. Why? Because light overcomes night with the entrance of spring. But what happened to acting locally while thinking globally? Of course, nights now grow longer for our southern hemispherians, right? What do we share at this time? All earthlings. What is the global proof that this Aries station brings new news? The shadow of Gaia now aligns with her spine. So both sides of the equator find equality of darkness and light. And most importantly, the sun now shines from the east. How can this be? I mean, where I sit in the Bay Area, I just watch the sunset in the west. Somewhere else on the world, it's rooting in the middle of the night below. Somewhere else, it's rising. Somewhere else, it's reaching its daily height. How can I say the sun is east when clearly this is a local consideration? Well, if you will, please reach your arms to the heavens wherever you are in space and in time, and stretch to the zenith above your head. Reach for that star that only you point to in this moment. The above is the particular, unique. But now meet me. Meet me where we are all connected. Meet me in the heart of Gaia. Reach your energy down through your spine in that one place where we all unite. And oddly, we do not measure the placement of the planets from the surface of the earth where we live and breathe and witness the heavenly happenings, but rather we measure planets and signs from the heart of Gaia, from that center of our planet, the most important planet, the one that we chose, the one that chose us, the one that is turning now. It is in her heart where we all connect. And it is at this time, called March equinox, or Aries ingress, the sun's movement into the tropical sign called Aries. It's the one time of the year when the sun, our star, our local broadcasting unit for the one light, it is only at this time that the sun shines from the east of Earth's heart. The east is the place of new beginnings. If you've forgotten this, simply wake before the sun tomorrow and watch the light rise. Where did it come from? Always a surprise, always an amazement, an awe, a wonder. But why does the eastern sky rise? And the answer is because Earth falls in that direction. Just as we descend into matter to lift the heavens up. So how can we lift the heavens up at this time, this turbulent time of forced hermitage? How can we begin anew in this strange space of fear and isolation? Well, remember that we all share that sun, and these stars in the sky can be seen by every earthly eye, just at different times, and some from different places. Let us remember the importance of receiving the light and make sure that we get outside and connect to the earth and take our shoes off and ground, witness nature, find our way to a hike, and get outside also at night and experience the amazement of the living sky. So an amazing thing at this equinox time, sun's Aries ingress, which was March 19th, 2020 here in the west coast of the United States, and March 20th for many of you, was that every visible planet, and in the ancient times, the luminaries, the sun and the moon, were called planets too, because the Greek planetas means wanderers, and they, like the visible planets, or those that we call planets today, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, also the sun and the moon wander against the backdrop of the constellations. So at this time, at least from places on Earth, this time of the sun's Aries ingress, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn were all visible to the naked eye, calling us outside, calling our attention to that living sky. And of course, in this great art, the sacred science of astrology, we're able to see more than the eyes can perceive, and more. And these charts will look very alien to many of you, but to many of you, very familiar. How can we be familiar with all of it? What does this chart ask of us? What does it encourage me to be? What does it encourage you to be? What does it encourage for this year of 2020? And how can we choose to tune in to the subtle chords of the celestial symphonies and the mysterious ones when others are just so loud? And getting louder as we turn the page ahead. The Aries new moon on March 24th at the bendings with Chiron, with Lilith. I'll turn much further ahead to what I've been saying is one of the three strongest astronomical and therefore astrological events of our lifetimes, the coming June solstice with the sun's Cancer ingress, which will be an annular solar eclipse at a very important time. So now we look at the alignment of the zodiacs long ago, 1 AD, which I prefer to call 1 AP, after Pisces, or really the beginning of Pisces. So that should say BP, my bad. This is when the east point, the point that is ever east of the center of the earth where we are all connected, that point where the tropical signs of Pisces and Aries always embrace, this is when that point was aligned for the first time to the constellation of the fish after an age of the ram, the beginning of the age of Pisces. I'll move forward from there to a time when that AD, BC, BP thing was defined, the Council of Nicaea. Interestingly, this was the time when the sidereal and tropical zodiacs were aligned, at least the way that most measure the zodiac of the stars, the sidereal zodiac, where 0 degrees Libra, you can see in the purple ring on the outside here, is configured to the bright star of the priestess in the heavens, the bright star Spica. And since that time, the constellations and the signs have adjusted. I stop now at 2012, the reset of the Maya long count. Not the dawning of the age of Aquarius, we see the east point still aligned with the fish. But this is the time when Gaia's spine, when the sword of our stone, when the world tree, the axis of our spin, which defines the directions, we live in a time when it is aligned to the galactic cross. An alignment like this only once about every 26,000 years. And it was not just 2012. We've been living in a range of these galactic alignments. It's still open, and it's going to receive another strong stimulation this year of 2020. If we look to the galactic cross that lives on the other side of the zodiac at the north point, at the cusp of Gemini and Cancer, on the hand of the high man Orion, who in Bengali was known as Kal Parish, time man, and who exists in the center of a group of stars, the Lakota called the sacred hoop. They say this is where our souls come from. The mysteries would seem to agree. Some called this the silver key of St. Pete, and others the silver gate, the place from whence we come. And then we will walk the spirit road, the Milky Way, to that place that sets on the other side, currently in the southwest, that galactic center, the Golden Gate, to where we will go. In the northern hemisphere, it is this point in our time, the center of the sacred hoop, that currently hosts the height of the light, the June solstice sun. This is for the northern hemisphere. Of course, for our friends in the southern hemisphere, that is the point of the zodiac that is closest to the earth. So in June solstice in 2020, there will be a very strong annular solar eclipse at this point. The stimulation of this time of galactic alignment, and with the amazement of the Saturn-Pluto conjunction this year, the Jupiter-Pluto conjunctions, the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in the sign of Aquarius, the beginning in some senses of a new epoch, a new trigon for the great conjunctions. This is all held within this great cycle, this great turning that now hosts an alignment of the solstice suns to the galactic crosses. So this 2020 June solstice eclipse is something I've been speaking about for many years. And I look back to the two other June solstice eclipses that have occurred within this window of galactic alignment. The first in 1982, a partial solar eclipse, and the middle of the three in 2001, a total solar eclipse. And there are prophecies from all around the world that speak to this time. Many of us will quote the turning of the ages doctrine that's whispered in the New Testament when Jesus tells his disciples, upon them asking where the Last Supper will be, he tells them to find the man bearing the pitcher of water and to follow him into the house in which he dwells. It seems to be a voicing of the coming age of Aquarius. And on the next page, it's my belief that he tells us when it will happen. And he tells us we will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One and coming on the clouds of heaven. Well, that right hand of the Mighty One we call Orion's Club. In another land, it was known as the hand of Osiris, or the High Man's hand, or the hand of the Time Man, which now hosts the height of the light, which this year will be shadowed at solstice time, as it was in 1982, as it was in 2001. If you feel like tuning into about 3.5 hours of transmission around that astronomical amazement and calling, please head over to my website, geminibrett.com, and you will find on the free teachings page this video called 2020 Revelations, Sun on the Cross and the Turning of Ages, which I recorded in January and spoke to something out of our control coming our way this year. I have no idea what it will be. And I'll say that I guess we've seen a taste, but just as astrology lets us see beyond what is visible to our eyes, there's something deeper in these turbulent times, something we will find if we look within. 'Tis the season, can't go outside, right? Aries ingress, a new year begins, the sun easts, a new rising of the light, a new strength we are asked to find in this shared hermitage. May we receive new visions of the wheel of life, to find new balance by releasing old habits that stand in the way of our being reborn into a new alchemy, temperance. There's a strong Capricorn council beating the earth's drum from the celestial realms, calling for a new paradigm through releasing those that no longer serve, asking us to turn our ears to the heart of the earth and to dance again to her beat. We are called to remember the wisdom of the ancient ones, the spirits of the land, and our ancestors, and dream into a new world for those who will follow us. This beautiful painting by the most amazing Autumn Sky Morrison, who also created this image he calls light workers. And we see the hands of the weavers, the council of grandmothers, and perhaps the fates, but let us remember, as I was taught in the Shamanic Astrology Mystery School, that we can inform the mysteries as much as the mysteries inform us. We all have a song, and tuning into that soul song, to that birth chart at this time, will reveal occulted, hidden, and powerful information to light. Yes, fates are woven, but free will too. We can dance to that song any way we choose. How will we dance at this powerful time? The shadow aligned to Gaia's spine. She spins on that axis, on that world tree. So this is a game of shadow and light. And here we are together at a time where it's hard to imagine we can call a beginning. But let us choose to begin again and to rise bravely and to reach for our highest height. Let us remember also always to rest so we can connect to the dream and drink from the well of wisdom offered by the ancient ones who live in every cell of our DNA. The sun has now found its way to the first sign. And let us remember that houses and signs are very different things, and like the moon and the sun and the planets and the stars of the zodiac, the signs rise and reach, rest and root every day. Let us together make an oath. Perhaps you'd like to replace my words, or perhaps you'd like to say them with me. Every day I will rise. Every day I will awaken. Every day I will embody. Every day I will wonder. Every day I will nurture. Every day I will create. Every day I will practice. Every day I will relate. Every day I will grow. Every day I will seek. Every day I will ground, center. Every day I will connect, express. Every day I will dream. And every day I will love. More love. Love more. And my oath as an astrologer is to remember the power of the word, especially in times of fear, to stay present to the subtle sounds of the celestial symphony that too often get drowned by the scary stuff. Let's speak of the shadow, and let's speak of the light, and let's dream forth a new dance, a new dream, a new beginning. Every day I will love, and at least for a while, every day I will wash all of my hands like a million times. All right, friends, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope, please, in this type of time of apparent isolation, we will remember to share, to connect, to get outside, to give a broad smile to those who we pass, to slow down, to connect in heart, and also to use these facilities of worldwide weirdness to at least connect through the interbeams. Perhaps it is only training for us to remember how to open the true web, the web of our hearts, and remember that connection that we knew in ancient times. So in honor to this, I'll leave you with a song. Love and planets to you.